part 1 of this video series, we identified ways to effectively recruit the right people for open positions in your hospital. In part 2, we discussed ways to successfully conduct a candidate interview in order to hire the best employees. In this program, we'll specifically concentrate on the training and orientation of new employees. Although training is especially important in the beginning stages of a new job, it's critical that training be an ongoing process. Prior to training, there will need to be a number of steps put into place as part of the new employee's orientation. A new hire should always receive a thorough and personal orientation to your practice. An orientation checklist will help you remember each step and check off each one as it's completed. Such a checklist helps you track the completion of paperwork, such as the W-4, I-9 forms, insurance forms, and receipt of employee policy handbook and safety manual. It also ensures that steps are taken, such as reviewing important policies, introducing the candidate to the team, and implementing the new employee training process. At this point, the job description should be reintroduced. This time, it's presented as a document of intended responsibility. It should be clear that the new hire is responsible to perform the tasks and responsibilities defined on the job description. The policy manual should also be introduced at this time. The new employee should thoroughly read the policy manual and indicate their acceptance of the company policies by his or her signature or digital acknowledgement. Training is perhaps the single greatest contribution you can make to the success of your practice. Recent statistics in veterinary medicine show a staggering 44% turnover amongst lay staff. This means in the average hospital, every year nearly half of your staff will leave for some reason or another. Each staff replacement means you must start over with the costly task of recruiting, training, and orienting the new hire. Evidence indicates, however, that training and staff development, when practiced on a consistent basis, will reduce the rate of turnover and increase practice productivity and profitability. Training is always considered important, yet sometimes in the course of a busy practice, good intentions are not always followed. Training should be considered absolutely essential for both new and existing employees if it's to compete with the demands of our time. New employees are generally willing to apply themselves to learning the way things should be done. This is truly the best time to begin the habit of learning. This early learning, in order to be effective, requires an organized and standardized training program. Haphazard and sporadic attempts to communicate information essential to performing the desired job tasks will only create frustration on everyone's part. So how do you organize a training program that delivers the necessary material at the right time? There are 3 key steps to effective training programs. First, you must deliver the training material in a clear and concise manner that the employee can easily understand. Second, there must be a sense of accountability. You cannot expect them to complete the material unless they know that their progress is going to be monitored. And thirdly, there should be recognition and reward for those excelling in their training accomplishments. Let's take a minute to discuss each one of these important steps. The first step is to deliver training in a clear and concise manner that the employee can easily understand. The dynamics of how today's generation learns is dramatically different than how it occurred 20 or 30 years ago. TV, the internet, and other media have influenced their audiences, creating a generation that's no longer interested in trudging through a 100-page training manual. Today's generation responds to video and fast-paced interactive learning. They are digital learners, eager to access materials quickly and efficiently from the internet. If you want to reach this audience, then you should be utilizing the internet to train them. Standardized training means that each new employee will be trained on the same coursework specific to their job description. This ensures that key elements of training aren't inadvertently omitted, as commonly occurs in less structured training models. Working in a veterinary hospital requires the staff to be knowledgeable on an extremely wide range of topics, from knowing dog breeds to understanding the reasons why pets are spayed and neutered, from basic animal handling to dealing with frustrated clients, from understanding basic zoonosis to maintaining medical records. The only way to ensure that the learning objectives are clearly communicated to the staff is through standardized training methods. Second, there must be a sense of accountability. Accountability in training means that there is a method for clearly differentiating the talkers from the doers. It's important for the new employee to know that you have the ability to monitor their progress. It's also important for them to know you will be testing them on the material. This communicates that the desired goal is to learn the material, not just complete the material. Computer and internet-based training, because it involves individual user IDs, creates measurable accountability that can be reviewed by management at any time. Finally, there should be recognition and reward for those excelling in their training accomplishments. Training is one of those areas where we can celebrate levels of accomplishment throughout the training process. This might take the form of presenting a certificate of completion after finishing a particular training or continuing education course. Some hospitals will reward various milestones of training with small pay increases. These become significant motivators to the staff. With the opportunity to become a certified veterinary assistant through Animal Care Technology's online program, staff can take significant steps toward making veterinary medicine a career, not just a job. So when should you begin training your new employee? You could start them on your training program during the application process, before they're even hired. Providing training opportunities for applicants even before the hiring decision has been made may provide valuable insight into the learning aptitudes of those applicants you are considering. If you offer an online course to 2 job candidates and one completes it in a timely manner while the other never looks at it, who are you most likely to hire? Evaluating a candidate for their willingness to learn is a great indicator for future success. Once they are hired, they will be ready and eager to step into the next phase of training. Remember that training should always occur before employees are placed into the real situation. This is especially true with safety training. OSHA mandates when training employees on duties that may pose health risks, such as operating an X-ray machine, that training must precede the actual working event. Training programs should be intensive in the early stages of employment, then maintained throughout the employee's tenure. Even veteran employees in your practice should be expected to continually learn. Having monthly training expectations keeps employees sharp in their performance and motivated to grow as individuals. Remember that training is an investment. It costs the practice time and money to focus the staff in the direction of learning new things. This investment, however, is perhaps the best single investment a practice can make. Zig Ziglar put it this way: what's worse than training your staff and losing them? Not training your staff and keeping them. Remember that training is always an ongoing process. By implementing the tips we discussed in this segment, you can create a consistent staff training program that will continually motivate your employees while reducing the turnover in your hospital.